Feels weird these weekends when the Lions lose, but they just got the best news we could possibly hope for when it comes to the injury front. There were a couple of scares. We knew we had some scares going into this game, but during this game, one of our absolute best players got hurt. He wasn't in to end it, and it is Amon Ra St Brown, and we are getting good injury news. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what this offense could look like next week. We're talking about a wide receiver that's emerging as well to help round out this entire wide receiver core. And we're going to jump into a little bit of exactly what kind of an injury St. Brown probably has, because we have so much at our disposal that sometimes we can know more than the coach is telling us, and you're going to find that out in this video. All right, if you haven't already done so, if you have been watching our videos for a while but yet to join the community by subscribing to Sports Talk Detroit, we've been doing this for almost 4 years. We are Lions diehards, but also want to try and keep a fair perspective. And so if you want more Detroit Lions news, stuff that not everybody else is talking about, please hit that subscribe and enjoy this. But without further ado, let's get down here. The injury is the absolute best case scenario for the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell said a couple of things. If you go to right after the game, we'll go right after the game, then we'll go to Monday. That's the 2 times he talks. All right, he said right after the game, he said, no, he's all right. I don't think it's anything long-term, so that's good news. Now, right after the game on Sunday, they basically can rule out ACL. They can rule that out, and everything's good, kind of even MCL a little bit. But they knew almost right away that it wasn't a big long-term thing. All right, later, during his press conference on Monday afternoon, he doubled down. He said, Amon Ra St. Brown's injury, lower leg, he'll be good, soft tissue. That's all he said. All right, basically saying he will be good. So here's the beautiful thing. Here's the thing that I love in general. Go to Twitter. All right, by the way, follow us on Twitter. Go for it. All right. I'll repost this. All right. I'll go ahead and repost this right now. But there are multiple doctors that are talking about what probably happened to St. Brown based on the video evidence. All right. Jimmy Leo says none are too concerning. Possible left hip flexor or quad strain with definite left thigh contusion. Small chance of MCL at the end. So the big concern is an MCL like sprain or even worse. You can see that just a little bit because the cleat gets caught up in the ground, and so you can kind of have that idea. All right. Jeff Mueller says concern on his left knee for MCL sprain. Secondary concern on ACL, though Dan Campbell indicated the team isn't viewing this as a long-term injury, so we can take out ACL. He's probably gets imaging at some point, anticipating at least an MCL sprain with a week-to-week status. All right, and then you have another guy, Jesse Morse. Initially left the game with a possible injury, then returned. He suffered this injury, which appears to be a direct hit to his left quad/leg. Doesn't look overly concerning. So when you take what Dan Campbell said, when you take what multiple doctors, I understand it's like, are these doctors even real? Like they're on Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Some of these guys have a tremendous amount of following. Jesse Morse, all right, has a tremendously large following. Jeff Mueller, even bigger. All right. So you look at these guys because this is what they do. Like there will be some of these guys will be the guys on fantasy football shows. They will be the guys on Sports Center talking about what this injury means and what it looks like based on the film and the tape. And no, sometimes you don't know till you really get in there. But when we talk about what they're seeing with what you're seeing with Dan Campbell, here's what I'm thinking. It's a range from these 2 areas. Best case scenario, it is a thigh quad contusion, which is the same thing that happened to Jets, all right, Justin Jefferson. And the worst case scenario is looking like it's going to be an MCL sprain. So you're looking at anywhere from he plays this weekend, all right, in Arizona, all the way to he misses a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. Now, some of this is absolutely a little concerning because, yeah, if you miss a couple weeks, But when you saw that, and you know St. Brown has to be hurt when he's limping off the field or can barely walk off the field. So what does that look like? Well, it's looking like one of those flyers we took on a player. Did a video on it before it happened. It was actually, I think, breaking news as I was doing the video, which was hilarious. I was filming a video on which one of the 3 wide receivers we should get. I gave 3. One of them was Patrick. All right, one of them was to Patrick, and we got him from the Denver Broncos. He is picking up the offense quickly. All right, here's what Dan Campbell had to say about him. He said, we liked him, Campbell said, about his performance. He said, it was good to see. I would say it was a positive showing to be able to get him out there and implement him in some of what we were doing. It'd be nice to get him a little bit more playing time. But I think that's what we'll do moving forward. I think the idea is to see if we can open this up a little bit and use him a little more. But man, he's big, he's physical, and his catch radius is enormous, pretty enormous. So there's a place for him here, and I see us using him moving forward. All right, here's what I have seen in the offense in the first 2 weeks of the season. I have seen more 12 personnel than I have ever seen with the Lions. I have seen more 2 running back looks than I've ever seen. I have seen 2 tight end looks. I saw a field where last game I was watching with my father. He's like, ooh, spreading it out, because we had 4 wide receivers. And I'm like, yeah, it's spread out. But of those 4 wide receivers, you had St. Brown out there. You had Brock Wright with him. You had David Montgomery was out wide, Brock Wright, and Sam Laporta. So you had, 4 wide receivers out wide, and those 4 wide receivers were running back, 2 tight ends, and a wide receiver. We need other wide receivers that we can rely on and that can be go-to. We are better prepared if Tim Patrick is prepared to play higher, like 60% of the snaps, 50, 60, 70% of the snaps, even if St. Brown can't come back right away. You can have J-Mo out there with Khalif Raymond filling in for St. Brown in the slot, which is by far his better position for Khalif Raymond, and then Tim Patrick on the outside, and you don't miss a huge step. I mean, it's big. Don't get me wrong. You're not paying St. Brown $30 million because it's not a big drop-off. But it's not as bad as it would have been. I mean, last week or the week before, if we lost him, it would have been absolutely devastating. It still is. It still hurts. But let's say he can get back. I think you're going to see the offense look more like it did last year. I think you're going to see Tim Patrick start to get more comfortable with Jared Goff and start playing that Josh Reynolds role a little bit more. Here's the thing with Jared Goff. Traditionally and historically, it takes him a very long time to get comfortable with his wide receivers. Once he gets comfortable, it's game on. But he has to take time to get comfortable. So my hope is that this week in practice, St. Brown, I understand, won't be playing. My hope is that they're playing Tim Patrick like crazy in practice and in drills, and Goff and him are working on timing. They're working on trust and everything else. They are both veterans. They should be able to get it done. All right, best case scenario for the Lions, check. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.